Is the film industry afraid of Donald Trump? That's what New York Times columnist Michelle Goldberg suggested in her new piece titled "Chilling Reason You May Never See the New Trump Movie." Now, this new movie is called The Apprentice, and it's a biopic about young Donald Trump and his cozy relationship with mob lawyer Roy Cohn. The flick premiered last month at the Cannes Film Festival, but would-be viewers in the United States may not get to see it at all. Distributors have bought the rights to The Apprentice in Canada, the UK, and France, to name a few. Filmmakers have not secured a deal to release it here in theaters or streaming.
According to Goldberg's piece, studios have been hesitant to take the movie on for fear of having to take on Trump and his mega base too. Other outlets report there have been multiple potential buyers, but because of the politics of the moment, they're distancing themselves from any potential blowback that could lead to boycotts, and other reasons are more pragmatic, like steering clear of political films, which have tended to flop at the box office.
Yeah, and I think we should underscore that point. Remember, there was that Dick Cheney movie that totally flopped.
Which was actually like a halfway decent movie. It had like a little tongue-in-cheek.
I think there's just not, Michelle Goldberg is, I think, a little bit reaching for some conspiracy here. Maybe they're just like not distributing it because there's not enough of an audience anymore for Trump sucks and is racist Hitler, orange man bad kind of thing. It's as the diminished ratings for the progressive cable news channels show.
If you look at what happened after Trump won in 2016, he had that war with CNN, and CNN had the parent company Time Warner, which was going to have a merger with AT&T. And Trump promised that if he won, he was going to have the DOJ sue and say that merger was an antitrust violation. He actually did and stopped that merger, and many have said that the reason he did it was because of CNN's treatment, his treatment during the election. I think this is one of those cases where you're seeing companies a little worried that if Trump wins, he may punish them if they purchase this film.
Well, and I think that's bad. I don't think the government should get involved in businesses' decision-making at that level or mergers, that kind of thing. I'm not a big fan of antitrust. I mean, currently the Biden administration, Lina Khan, the antitrust chief, is like trying to stop every business decision being made by every major company in America. So I don't know what you could say. Like, oh no, Trump might come in and mess up some business deals. I mean, that is the entire ideology of the Biden administration is to prevent the mergers of large companies.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a reason why antitrust is so important. We had to break up.
Is it important? Lina Khan's trying to stop my default search engine on my phone from being Google because I like it too much.
Well, think about it.
You like it. Everybody likes it too much.
We had the phone companies across the country all as one. It was like Bell Atlantic and Bell.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was a government-granted monopoly.
But they broke that up, and now it's the reason we have
they structured it like that in the first
T-Mobile and all these other things. Like, I think to the broader point,
I was on the phone with Verizon customer service for 3 hours yesterday.
I believe it.
Not feeling great about that.
And it was all
right
probably
now.
outsourced, right?
Yeah.
You weren't talking.
No, the guy I was talking to was great. American.
Oh.
Really helped me,
Bravo,
but the problems were certainly not having anything to do with him.
I want to see this movie. I think we talked about the First Amendment and freedom of speech. Part of the fabric of our country, we always talk about the First Amendment and freedom of speech. Well, here we have a film that talks about Donald Trump's early life. We don't really talk a lot about his relationship with Roy Cohn, someone who was part of the McCarthy hearings, was part of a lot of the Red Scare. That's a part of Donald Trump's life that he leaves out. One of the points in this film is Roy Cohn secretly lives a life as a homosexual, and towards the end of his life, when he has AIDS, Donald Trump abandons him and doesn't have a relationship with him. And I think that goes towards kind of the character of Donald Trump, and so it's interesting to see that played out in a film.
It might very well be interesting. The film, I have no idea if the film's good or bad or not. I don't think it would is there anyone in the country who's undecided about Trump's moral character and how they feel about him?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows who Trump is. Everybody,
you love him, you hate him.
Yeah, their vote's made up.
That's the way it is.
But, some of the actors in this film, he's got a great cast. I just, I want to see it. I'm curious.
Here is something interesting that my friend Lachlan Markey, who was formerly a reporter for a couple different places, pointed out. Let's say this film got a distributor and it got released, month before the election.
Yeah.
So that is allowed. That is the exact issue that came before the court in Citizens United.
Yeah.
If Citizens United had not been decided that way, that film, it would be illegal for them to release that film.
But the Citizens United
Is
film
exactly
was a
that.
documentary, wasn't it? That was, I mean,
Who cares? It was the FEC said that it was election engineering to release that film within 60 or 90, however many days it was of the election, and the filmmakers sued. They said, no, we have a free speech, First Amendment right to show a film critical of Hillary Clinton, and it went before the court, and then the justices asked questions like, so the government's saying they were concerned because they're all First Amendment people, and they asked questions like, so you're saying you can, the FEC is saying they can ban this film. Are you saying you could ban a book as well?
Exactly.
And the court and the FEC said, yes, we are saying that, and the court said, nope. And so now we have no
Citizens United should be overturned. You will never have me arguing in favor of Citizens United.
No, so I'm saying I am in favor of Citizens United because it's a free speech decision that allows for. This is why we needed the decision, because the government was going to stop a film critical of a presidential candidate from being aired right before the election, which is now this exact issue that Michelle Goldberg is upset about, that a private company won't decide to take it on. But I'm sure. I mean, I know her politics somewhat. I'm sure she thinks Citizens United is the worst thing that ever happened to this country. But under that paradigm, you would not be able to do this very thing.
Yeah, but under the Citizens United paradigm, it also suggested that money was speech. And money, I will forever argue that money itself is not speech. Money is a venue and an avenue for speech, but in and of itself, it isn't speech. And
I mean, the FEC made that argument because they said the documentary, which was speech, could be regulated under their jurisdiction because it was money. And so we have the situation we have. I'm sure we disagree on campaign finance, but the thing that was under the case was exactly this issue, whether a movie could be showed.
It always comes back to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
See?
Well, I've said they're a very strong speech court, and I'm a fan of that decision. But anyway, we might not be able to see this movie, but it could just be. There's no appetite for it.
You know what? I think this even more is gonna make people want to see it. And I think that maybe actually be part of this campaign. It's a media strategy of maybe it'll never come out. If this was just like some low budget thing.
For people to say like, I could shoot a video or a movie on my phone and say, nobody wants to give me this release, I'm being silenced, I'm being suppressed. That wouldn't really be the case. I
don't know. I mean, you have a film that's shown at Cannes. It got a good review at Cannes. We're seeing it. It's going to be distributed in Canada, in the UK. There's certainly going to be reviews about it.
Well, maybe in Canada and the UK, there's audiences of Trump-hating people, but
I mean,
not in America.
Mike Flynn's got a documentary that's out right now, not to give Mike Flynn any kind of press, but if Mike Flynn can have a documentary that'll get distribution, if the garbage films that I see on my Amazon Prime purchase...
Maybe those don't cost very much.
Well, I think
they might be asking top dollar to distribute this.
Because
it's got, well-known actors and everything in it.
If Road Trip can get a distribution, then I think this can get a distribution.
All right, more Rising right after this.